Okay, so this review lesson is over horizontal and vertical slope. You can follow along with the worked example if you want to or need to, but we're just going to go through the same examples. I will have a graph here to kind of help us if you're more of a visual learner, which is totally fine, but we're still going to use the slope formula to find the slope of our line. So in this one, we are going to use the points 3, 2, and 6, 2 to find the slope of the line using the formula. Now I've already graphed those 2 points right here, and we're going to create the line later after we find the slope. So using those points, we're going to use the slope formula. So based off of the last review lesson and most of Module 6 that we did in first semester, our slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's remember that our y2 is this one and our y1 is this one. So we look at our second point and look at the y-coordinate, first point, look at our y-coordinate. So y2, which is 2, minus y1, which is also 2, divided by x2, which is 6, minus x1, which is 3. And now let's go ahead and simplify. So we have 0 on the top, divided by 6 minus 3, 3. And can this be simplified any further? Yes, it can. An important thing to know about horizontal lines, which is actually what we're graphing in this example, is that the slope is always going to be 0. Which is what we have here, because 0 divided by any number is always going to be 0. That's just a fact. That's how it is. So our slope is 0, and when we come back up here to our graph, to graph the line, we notice that it goes from left to right, and it goes straight through both of those points. Now if we think back to slope being rise over run, our rise is 0 and our run is 3. So from point to point, our rise, it doesn't go up any since it's on the same horizontal line. So again, our rise is 0 and our run is 3 to get from point to point, which shows that we have a slope of 0. Now this is a horizontal line, and next we're going to look at vertical lines and slopes. So again, we're going to use the points 2, 4, and 2, 8 to find the slope of the line using the formula. So I've graphed points 2, 4, and 2, 8. Now let's use our slope formula to find our slope. So y2 minus y1 gives us 8 minus 4 over x2 minus x1, which is 2 minus 2. And let's simplify this. So we have 4 over 0. Now, this looks similar to the horizontal line, just that they're flipped, and now the 0 is in the denominator. But this does not mean that our slope is 0. When we have any number over 0, so our 0 is in the denominator, we actually don't have a slope. We have a line, but this is actually all that we can say about our slope, is that it goes from down to up, up to down, top to bottom, whatever you want to call it. And this is our line, right? Because again, if we look at rise over run, our rise is 4. So from our first point to our second point, we rise by 4, and our run is 0, so we don't move left or right. So just remember that if we have a solution like this with any number over 0, you're going to get a vertical line, which means that the graph of your line is going to look like this. If you have any other questions, please keep reviewing this video, go back to the worked example, let us know if you have any questions. But again, this is just a review before we move on to graphing more lines.